Hi, everyone. Welcome to X Level Exclusives. We are so excited about today's show. Vince has been wonderful again and has brought to us one of his amazing talents, Laura Patalano, who is an amazing actress. Hola, Laura.
Hola, hola, ¿cómo están?
Hola,
Gracias
mi amor.
for having me. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so
Well,
excited to be here.
And I have to tell you, Laura, we're excited to have you because you truly have had a prolific and an amazing career. And I really want to say, on behalf of being a Mexicana myself, qué orgullo los das a nuestra gente, a nuestra cultura. I know with Gentefied, but I will tell you that you're a role model. And I am so excited for everyone to really get to know you today and to really explore this. And I'm going to let Vince introduce you a little bit, and then I'm going to start asking you some questions about your amazing career. So, Vince, do you want to say a couple of words?
Absolutely. Well, ironically, I met Laura during these times. I reached out to her and we started talking because this is a time where you're looking for new faces. As a manager, I'm watching a lot of shows and I'm looking for people that are working and trying to see what's out there. And I was talking to Javier and he says, "This woman's amazing." I'm like, "Let me research her."
Oh,
I saw her character and I saw the show and I was like, "Oh my God, this woman's amazing." So I reached out to her and we started talking and we just hit it off. I felt like I knew her. And, so I'm so happy that she's now part of the inclusion family. And we have a lot of good things that we're going to be doing. And, I want to congratulate her for being part of the second season on Gentefied. And I
Yay!
think I think
hey,
it's
thank you.
it's one of the, I would say, top Latinx shows. And
Yeah.
a lot of my clients are looking at this, and you're going to be a great role model because they're going to hear your story and how you got where you're at now. I think our people need to hear that, and not just our people, but any people of color, gender. We all need to hear how your journey got you here in Hollywood. And I know you must have had a journey because you're not only you're not from here, you came from Mexico, so that crossover is not
Yeah.
always easy for us.
Right.
So I cannot wait to hear your journey, how you got to Hollywood. And
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you all of you for having me. For me, it's like so excited to be here,
you're so
sharing my life and my story.
So,
no, thank you, thank
thank
you.
you. And Laura, on that note, tell us a little bit about where your acting career started and what got you started as well.
Well, when I was in high school in Mexico, it was a program after school,
Uh-huh.
like to explore theater. And because I was exposed to art in a very young age,
Uh-huh.
I decided to go and take these classes and explore what it was about.
Yeah.
So the moment I stepped on the stage, I fell in love with this craft.
Mm.
And my teacher back then was Alejandro Bichir, that is a very well-known director in Mexico City.
Yeah.
So after my first improvisation, he approached to me and he said, "You have to go to school for this. You're so good."
Oh.
And my answer was, "Well, if I'm so good, what I need to go to school? That's what you say when you're
Only
20,
for a teenager.
Most actors say that. So
17.
typical.
Right.
It's so difficult." He said, "Because that way you become better because you have already the talent. And then if you know the craft and you are able to get in touch with a bunch of things that are important, you are going to become better and better." And then he was bugging me and bugging me and bugging. Finally, I went to school. I studied in Mexico in the Instituto de Arte Escénico. I was the first generation from ese instituto. So yeah, that's why. That's what I did it.
And I have to ask you from Mexico, tell us a little bit about your trajectory of coming to the United States and crossing over and what the difference in your career, because I know you had a successful career there in theater and you did so many wonderful things there. But tell us a little bit about your journey in now acting here in the United States.
Okay, so when I finished school right away, one of my teachers sent me for a casting and I was booked. So I started going all around in una gira teatral around Mexico City with Maricruz Olivier, that big star from Mexico that people doesn't know who she is. She was one of the big stars of the gold cinema in Mexico.
Yes, beautiful.
And, yeah, beautiful and very talented lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, Maricruz Olivier. Y Raúl Ramírez. We were directed by Oscar Ledesma, and the play was Vamos a Contar Mentiras de Alfonso Paz. So we were around all these plays, and that's how my career pretty much take off. After I studied, like I started working right away.
Wow.
And then in one, I was a drama teacher. I was a kindergarten teacher also. But when I was a drama teacher, I went to Acapulco for a trip, and then is when my life changed. I met this beautiful, amazing, handsome Italian American guy. I didn't speak any word of English. He didn't speak any word Spanish, but we saw each other and we fell in love.
Oh.
And we didn't have computers back then, so we started like writing each other letters and translate the letters and all that stuff. He started calling me every weekend to tell me that he wanted to marry me. But when I went in Acapulco, I was in vacations with my mom, so I used to go like just holding hands with him in the beach, like a very well behaved woman. And 6 months later, he went to meet my family. I came back, and that's what brought me to the States.
Wow.
Love it.
And from coming from Mexico to the United States, how quickly did your career evolve here? And what was your trajectory when you were here?
Well, it took a long time. What happened is, let me tell you, because I think this is very interesting. One day I had a dream that I saw myself in this beautiful house with this beautiful red strapless, really beautiful. Everything was gorgeous. And I say, and everything that this is provided by my acting career. And the next day I told this to my twin daughters, and I say, what we should do? They say, Mom, let's explore how you can go back to your acting career, period. And they are a big force of me. I mean, they really are like my supporting system, emotional. When so many times that I say like, no, this is too hard. Like, no, you cannot give up now. So yeah, it's important to have all this. So that's how I started again, looking again, because I didn't know how to do it here.
Right.
So I decided to, okay, let's explore how we can do it here in the States. I was living in New York back then.
So did you get an agent right away or manager? How did that work for you in the beginning?
No, actually, no. I was belonging to an Hispanic organization in New York. So all the castings, I got all the castings through the organization, the HOLA, Hispanic Organization.
Yes, I remember that.
For Latin actors. So pretty much I didn't have really like representation or anything because I didn't know that it was important. But I started going to casting and I started booking things. And then I have like 6 projects that have gone to Sundance.
Right.
Just from there, it's like start doing different things,
Wow.
But I always wanted to come to LA because I felt like I was going to be a part of my minority in New York, but I was going to be a part of a community in LA.
Beautiful.
It is like that.
Yeah.
It's just like that.
That's wonderful. And on that note, because it seems to me like right now, the advice that you'd be giving to somebody in the acting field, because I know a lot of people are out there, is what advice would you give them about them building their careers? Because I know when we spoke yesterday, you really spoke about that strong foundation that's needed. And can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think it's important to take classes. I really believe that if you want to be an actor, it's like any other career. You need to know the craft. You need to learn. Even if you have the talent, even better. But you need to know what you're doing.
Right.
That will make a big difference.
I have a question for you. Like in LA, who did you study with?
In LA, I have like classes with different casting directors, more like a guidance thing.
Okay.
But I didn't took any classes here. My classes basically were in LA. Yeah. In Mexico.
In Mexico.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your theatrical background.
Yes.
Is very important.
The foundation, definitely.
Interesting.
Yeah. I have you can say the equivalent to the bachelor's.
Uh-huh.
So we do the different techniques, Shakespeare and the no theater and the Hindu theater and a lot of things. And we read a lot on the history of cinema and makeup and different techniques of acting and even dubbing, everything. We study everything, dance and ballet and bunch of things. I mean, it was like really the whole career, so you can make it anywhere in movies and theater and TV shows and anything, pretty much.
So for somebody that maybe did not follow that path, what advice would you give them now of something that they should be doing while they're at home? Because most likely right now they're in self-quarantine.
Read a lot. That will help. If
Yeah.
you want to do theater, read a lot of plays. If you want to do movies, read about the screenplays, like watch movies, see who is there. And if you can start working in your own, especially these days that we have so many platforms, you can do your own projects.
Right.
But if you have that creativity in you, don't let us leave. Like do something with it.
No, definitely. It's
Good
something
work.
we have to explore. So,
Yeah.
and on that note, one of the things that that I love that we chatted about yesterday as well is tell me a little bit about who your favorite role is that you've been acting or that you've been portraying, if you will. Who would that be?
I have beautiful parts, really. They, for some reason, I don't know why they always give me the tough cookie. This sweet girl, this
So
woman.
adorable, virtually, pero yes.
But if I don't smile,
Well, there you go. You got it.
think
You
that I
got
will
it.
be
I
mad.
would ask you for
En la
that.
iglesia cuando me portaba mal, diciendo, nomás te doy el ojo y ya me pasivo bien prontito.
honestly, my favorite character so far is definitely Beatriz from Gentefied.
Oh,
She's
Wow.
full of layers, I love this
Totally.
character.
Totally.
She's a
Totally.
strong woman, but she
Yeah.
had a really tough life.
yes.
So I think that's the reason. She probably is so vulnerable, and
Yeah.
she doesn't want to show that part of her. So
Yeah.
it's easy to try to be like you're tough and mean, but maybe because you don't want to show that part of you.
Right.
But I love the character because she's beautiful and she loves her kids for like I do love my twins. It's like you
That's
do
great.
anything for your kids pretty much.
So,
So can
go
you,
ahead.
you know what I would like to hear? How was it getting that role? Because I would like people to know how you, because you said it was a little challenging. I would
Yes,
like to
it
hear
was.
from you. How was that journey?
Well, I was part of the original because this was supposed to be a web series. That was the original idea, to be a web series. But we went to Sundance with it, and we made too much noise, and it was so well done and so well written, and took off pretty much. That the rest is history. But what happened is I was part of the first, but in even in the first one, you have to go to the casting and then the callbacks, and you have to compete with other ladies that are as good as you or even better than you. You never know. But so I was part of the original, and even when I was part of the original, when they put together this one, they decided to do the casting again. So I went to the casting and 3 callbacks.
Oh, wow.
So it's like, okay, now you have to nail it. You have to know your lines. You have to really go there and prove that you are that role. Grab it, nail it pretty much.
And on that note, I'm just curious, would your teenagers say you're more in line with Beatriz?
Oh, no,
Now
I'm
the
so
personality
different.
is very different, right?
I'm so different than Beatriz because I'm not sarcastic, and these
Oh.
ladies are sarcastic, but my kids are so sarcastic, and
Yeah.
they help me to put together the casting.
Right.
So it's different than me in many ways because I love to hug my kids and kiss them, and all day long I tell them that I love them, and we don't see that in Beatriz.
No, we
Definitely
don't.
not like that. Not so far.
No, yeah, not so far. I know, because to me it was, and I loved when we were showing, the clip that we've been promoting as well, Next Level, is when Beatriz goes to the art gallery to see her work. Pensaba que me ibas a pintar enojada, because that's the only way. But I have to tell you that I'm sure there's plenty of people in the audience that know of somebody, to your point, that might be vulnerable or does not know how to show love, and that's the only way that they are reacting. What are your thoughts about that? I'm just curious.
Well, my mother was a very lovely woman that was all the time like me, hugging me and kissing me. She was lovely all the time, smiling. My grandmother was so lovely too, but it was different. She was more serious.
Yeah.
She was the matriarch, and everybody listened what she say, and everybody like straight, like, okay, we have to do what grandmother say. Yeah, exactly. Mi abuelita, mi mamá grande, because that's how we call it, mamá grande.
Oh.
But I pretty much, my father was in the picture, so I was raised for all these aunts and my mom and my grandmother that was really like raising me while my mom was working because she had 3 kids.
Uh-huh.
So pretty much the reason is that you are raised in this household where it's like very strong woman. So you have to learn to be one of them.
Right. No, definitely. And I'm curious, what did your mother think of your acting career? Did she nurture
Oh,
it or not?
that was very interesting. The first time that she saw me on set or on stage,
Uh-huh.
I approached to her and I said, "What do you think, Mom?" And she says to me, "One day you will be big because you're so talented."
Mhm.
That's great.
That's
And that
beautiful.
stays
That's
with
great.
me, you know. So I will tell the mothers out there, be careful what you tell your kids, because
That's
if you
true.
say something negative, it will stay with them. But if you say something positive, also will stay with them for forever. So I don't know where my mother is. I hope that in heaven, but where she is, I hope that she's very proud of all the thing that I have accomplished.
Well, I would say she's very proud of you. Tienes un angelito la guardia because your career is on fire. You're growing so much from
Yeah.
Vida to the
Yeah.
cartoon that you're doing, Abuelita Chata to, I mean, you're doing so much. And I think that that really speaks to how you were empowered as a teenager that didn't think you needed to take acting lessons. And thank God that you did go to the theatrical school so you could get that strong foundation to
Yes.
grow the love that was already cherished to you. So I think that that's beautiful.
But one of the most important part is this. This is what you really want to do. Don't give up. Never give up.
Right,
Sometimes you have to do other things to survive because it's not an easy career. But
right,
don't give up.
right.
Period.
One foot in front of the other. On that note, what has been possibly one of the most memorable experiences that you've had in your career?
Uh, when I moved here, I did a movie, Mosquita y Mari, directed
Mhm.
by Aurora Guerrero.
Wow.
By the way, she's the same director of my episode in Gentefied.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, so Aurora Guerrero is an amazing director. And when we have this in Outfest, we had this party after the film, and this young fellow approached to me with his partner, and he said, "Can I hug you because you look a lot like my mother?"
Oh,
And she left this world 3 years ago, and she never accepted that I was gay,
mm,
and that broke my heart, because I am a mother, and I can imagine my kids being not in my life.
right.
So I hugged him and I told him, you know what, the important thing, she probably couldn't understand where you're coming from. The important thing is that you are here, you have
Right.
somebody to love and somebody love you, and we came to this world to be happy.
Right.
So that's what is important. So the next day he put a little note that thanks to the movie and that he had the opportunity to talk to me, he was able to have like a closure in his mother passing.
Oh,
That's
And
great.
that has no price for me. In that moment I realized how important the work of an actor is.
right.
You can touch people's life in a massive way and change them forever in a good way.
Exactly.
Um,
Wow. That is just, and speechless, that is absolutely beautiful. Actually, I think I'm emotional,
great.
honestly, because it's what a beautiful moment, and that you were able to create closure, but also to empower that young man to know that he belongs in all the circles and in all the beautiful families, because
Yes, exactly.
that's what life is about, is acceptance and love.
Yeah.
On that note of acceptance and love, tell us a little bit about, because how are you handling all the projects, your family? I know your daughters that are pioneering your career and saying, Mom, the twins, what else can we do next? Because you are busy. And
Yes, thank
you have
God.
a career that I think a lot of women, and I mean this with love, half your age would be envious of. And that's an amazing perspective to have. And I love that because that's not what we hear all the time. And I think that that's something beautiful that I would love to hear from you, how you keep up with all of your projects.
You dream with making it big someday.
Yeah.
And when that start happening, is you have to pin yourself to believe that it's happening.
Right.
Because even when you believe that you will, you say it's a matter of time. It's like something that is so far, but it's different for everyone. For me, it took like a little longer because sometimes I have to have a pause to raise my kids myself and to have 3 jobs in New York to give them the basics. And it wasn't easy, but I always was trying to go into castings and try to keep my career alive. It's not easy, but I did it, So in some point, if you insist and you keep on going, in some point it will happen.
No, definitely. I think that that's beautiful. And Vince, I'm curious from your perspective, because I know this is a new relationship and something beautiful that came out of quarantine, right? Is that you both were able to talk to each other. I'm curious from your perspective, having a client that's this prolific and growing, what are your plans?
Well, I am in love with this woman because I
Wow.
think she's an amazing talent. And not only that, she's a beautiful soul.
Yeah.
That for us, the sky has no limits.
Right.
We have a meeting this week with the crew, the whole company.
Uh-huh.
We're going to sit down and map her career. Not only to try to get her the best representation in town, but also talk about incorporating her in some of our projects that we're producing. So, I mean, we're excited to work with her. I mean, she's just a bundle of joy, and I am listening to her talk. We're going to do a lot of fun stuff in front of the camera, outside of the camera, with San Antonio. We're going to be involved in some. I'm going to keep you busy. If you think you're busy now, you're going to be busier.
That's what I want.
And if I have to send you to Mexico to work on a movie for 2 weeks, we're going to go to Mexico.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to.
Yeah, we'll all go.
I'm just making sure that we remember this. That X marks the spot, right?
No, so it's going to be fun. I can already tell just, by how many times have we talked, Laura?
I don't know.
Maybe 4 times, but it's like I feel like I've known her.
Right.
And she's just this bundle of joy that's so talented, and you can relate to her, and she's so approachable. She's almost like your sister. I'm not going to call you my mother. You're like your sister.
No, you better not.
I love that.
So no, I mean, there's a lot of good things that we have in the works for her. Absolutely. And it's going to be fun.
Well, and I have to tell you, Laura, I know when we were talking earlier, you're like, if I don't smile, I have such a serious face. But I have to tell you, you light up a room. You really have a lightness in you that is just beautiful and captivating. And I hope that you always know that when you're having to go to another cast or different things like that is what's so captivating about you, because you can always tell somebody that really wants to nurture all those around them. And I really see that.
Definitely, yes. I love that. I have a lot of that with my daughter's friends.
Oh, that's wonderful. So curious, what are your passions besides acting?
Besides acting, I have so many passions. Of course, my kids, my family.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing in my life, my kids, my twin daughters. And I do a lot of things. I started exploring art to painting. I make jewelry. I am a creator of educational board games because I was a kindergarten teacher in some point in Mexico for several years.
Wow.
So it's like I have to keep myself busy. I cannot be like sitting watching TV only. I have to do something. I am a restless soul, I guess, because I have to do something.
Yes. Well, it's interesting. It's restless, but I think it still relaxes the mind with the projects that you're talking about, right? So it's still mindful, but you're just utilizing it a little bit differently. And that's beautiful.
I love art. What kind of art are you painting? Like it's abstract?
No, actually, I start painting angels.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Yeah. I have one that I have 2 already that I finished, but one of them I'm looking at it right now, and I just love it.
Angels.
I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know. I love angels.
Angels.
I will share it in my Twitter or in my. I will put a picture of so you can see what I'm talking about.
I would love to see your work. Would love to see.
Yeah. No, I never took art classes, but I'm starting exploring. Like, okay, let's see what I can do.
That's beautiful. Well, as you can tell, I love art. It's always around me. It's just a way of life, I believe. And my mother was great at always introducing us to art as children. So on that note, because I know we're going to have to let you go in a little bit, what would be a piece of advice that you would give somebody at home? And I'm going to go from 2 parts. One would be first to start with a non-actor who's just a fan of yours, loves your work, and right now is at home and was excited to get to know you as a person, maybe giving them a piece of advice. And the second one would be for somebody that is an actor or in the entertainment industry, because I think that there's two audiences that we have possibly watching you today.
Okay, so for the ones that are not actors,
Right.
I will say try to be happy.
Yeah.
Because life is too short.
Yes.
And if you love someone, make sure that you let them know that you care for them and you love them.
Right.
Sometimes we get distracted with things or with life, and we forget to tell people that they are important in our lives.
Very
So, and when you're so far from home, like in my case, your closest friends become your family.
right.
So just take care of your friends. Take care of your friends like it's part of your family. That will be my advice. The ones that want to be actors, always try to get involved in something related to the craft. If
Uh-huh.
you can go and take classes online, even online. These days, there's a lot of things that you can do. Read a lot. Try to do a lot of networking. It's a
Mhm.
beautiful bunch of film festivals with short films and feature films and indie films that you can go, and you will be amazed of all these talented people that put things together sometimes with no money. Now you can do it with your phone.
Exactly. Now,
So
now-
and study, get classes, and have respect for the craft, I will say.
Amen.
Amen. No, definitely having respect for the craft. I think that that's very vital and very important, because anything you have respect for, you're going to nurture and take care of,
Yes.
and watch it grow. So I have to tell you that today, what I really learned a lot from your talk, and I have to also tell you that my husband was so excited to hear from Beatriz as well. So, I'm lovely to tell him, say, oh my gosh, she's closer to one of my favorite tias, because you are so nurturing there. But I think it's an important role that you show, because there is sometimes a person like that in a family, and sometimes we don't always understand them. And I think you bring us a lot of empathy and a character that is in survival mode. And I
Yeah.
think that's also something very important. But I will have to tell you that I loved our conversation. I'm not surprised we're a kindergarten teacher, because you have that lightness that you have. But I also loved what you stated about you having to know theater and the foundation of whatever it is that is your craft, so you can really build upon it, because it's like a house. You don't have a strong foundation, it will blow away. And I think that that's something that's really key. And Vince, I know you gave me a great quote yesterday, and I would love for you to give that quote here in a little bit, before we sign off, because I think that quote really summarizes the conversation that we really had today, just serendipitously. So do you mind giving us that quote from Vince?
Absolutely. Yeah, I always tell a lot of my clients is, it's so important that if you come to LA, to come defined. Because sometimes if you're not defined as a person, this town can define you the way they see you. So it's important to love and know who you are,
Right.
because you got to know who you are when you come here, because this town can define you. And sometimes it can define you in a way that doesn't represent you.
Right.
And I leave you with that. I really do. It's important, like, to love yourself and really know where you come from, because this is not an easy town. This is can be. If I had kids, I don't know if I'd want them here, because it's a very challenging town.
Yeah.
So that's my advice. That's my
You're
advice.
right. Yeah, definitely.
No, definitely. And Beatriz, any other words of wisdom before we let you go?
Be happy, be positive. Don't let the fear take over.
Right.
We are living in a very difficult time, but this will pass. And
Right.
when it will pass, we go back to the new normal and then to the normal.
So true. So true. So
Everything
true.
is okay. We are going to be fine.
We are. We are. We are.
And for anyone that's out there, if you have not seen Gentefied, which I really doubt, because I know it has so many great ratings of it, make sure to check out Gentefied on Netflix. It's an amazing show that I will say you will binge watch pretty quickly and get through possibly in 1, maybe 2 days, if that's all you're doing, I will say, or unless you're doing some art or other things, you might need to break it up a little bit. But it's such a great show. You can also, be sure to follow Laura, keep up with the adventures. but it's like everything else. Whatever we put our energy to, the studios are always going to pay attention to those as well. So let us all support each other in our growth and making sure that we're all growing together. Because like Laura told us all today, it's about being happy, being positive, and the more whole that we are within ourselves, the more that we can give to each other. So thank you all so much. Without further ado, we're going to sign off. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe to our channel so you can keep up with great conversations. And yes,
I do want to say we have who's next week.
Oh, yes.
Is a dear friend of mine from LA Models. She runs the runway department, Krista Clayman. So she will be joining us next week. So you're going to love this, Silali, because you come from the fashion world. So it's going to be all about fashion. That's going to be next week.
Yay. You know, I'm so excited. We had acting one week and fashion runway the next. You know, that's how we do things here at X Level. We're always crossing new frontiers and having fun together.
Absolutely.
So,
thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Saludos a todos mis primos y mis sobrinos en Texas, because I have a lot of family in Texas.
Well, I'm so glad, pero te voy a decir una cosa, though. When you come to Texas, vas a tener que venir aquí porque aquí tienes tu casa. So I'm sorry, I already marked the territory. You're having to come to San Antonio first.
Okay, I promise I will.
Okay, sounds good.
You guys have a good weekend. Take care.
Thank you, guys. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
To all the people that took the time to watch it. I love you guys. Thank you for supporting the show, and I'll see you soon.
Definitely.
Adios.
Adios.
Bye.